Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So I'm going to start by using my Nicka K eyebrow pencil. I'm going to be using the spoolie to brush out the brows. Then I'm going to use the shade black brown to go underneath and just outline the natural shape of my brow. So once I line underneath, I'm going to do the same thing on top, but I do not start at the very front part of my brow. I don't want it to be too boxy or too dark. I do want to kind of keep it looking natural. Then I'm going to start filling it in from the tail and work my way towards the front. So now I'm going to go in with the spoolie and pretty much brush that product through my brow and also drag it towards the front of the brow to give it a more natural ombre effect. So now I'm just creating light strokes at the front of my brow, and don't worry, I know you're looking kind of crazy right now, but we're gonna get it fixed, sis. Don't worry. I'm going in with my Morphe M124 brush and my E.L.F concealer to clean underneath my brow. And I'm going to do the same thing on top, and let's just keep in mind that our eyebrows are sisters and not twins, so they're not going to be identical. I primed my eyelids using the same E.L.F concealer. Now I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder and just setting that concealer in place because we don't want any creasing, okay? We want a flawless base before we go in with our eyeshadow. So now I'm using my Juvia's Place bronzer palette and just mixing those two colors together to apply to my crease. So now I'm going to dab in the shade Hope and throw that right into the crease and just blend that outward just to deepen it up a little bit. Now I'm going to spread some kindness and just use that with a blending brush to just pretty much blend the edges out. Don't want them to be too harsh. Now I'm going in with that shade Unify and putting that right where my eye naturally creases, because this is where I'm going to cut my crease, and I do want it to be darkened up a little bit to add a little bit more depth. And I'm just going to blend this color right in my crease. And don't worry, you guys, I will have all of the brushes that I used and the products as well listed down below. Alright, you guys, and now I did go ahead and cut my crease off camera because it is a struggle. So I'm just using a buffing brush to just buff out the excess product because I don't want it to be too wet. Going back in with Spread Kindness and just popping that right onto my lid to kind of set that concealer in place for when I cut my crease. Alright guys, so now I'm going back in with that blending brush and just blending the edges of that cut crease because I don't want it to be, I want it to be as clean as possible, as sharp as possible, okay? Now I'm going to go in with the shade Spark Ideas and pop that right onto my eyelid just to get the eyelids popping. It's a cute shimmery color. See, it's popping, yes. Now I did do my liner and my lashes off camera because I struggle with that as well. So now I'm going to go in with my E.L.F Hydrating Primer, and as y'all can see, it's time for me to restock because it was definitely a struggle trying to squeeze the little products out of that bottle. But we made it work, okay? So moving along to foundation, I'm going to be mixing these two shades together and then applying it with my foundation brush. And as y'all can see, it pretty much gives me the perfect match. And I'm just going to apply that all over my face. And then I'm going to be using that same foundation brush to just pat that foundation into my skin. I feel as though this gives me more of an airbrush finish. I don't know, it's just a method that I prefer to use. And then I go back over it with my beauty blender just to make sure everything is, you know, blended out well. We don't want to be too cakey. Alright, so moving right along to highlight, I'm going to pop that concealer underneath my eyes, on my chin, down the bridge of my nose, and also on my forehead. Now this shade wasn't given highlight, so I did go back on top of that with a lighter concealer just to insinuate the highlight. Now to blend the concealer out, I'm going to be using my Real Techniques blending brush. And first, I'm just going to start by blending out the edges to make sure that it blends into the foundation. And then I'm going to go back over it and just using those patting motions to just patting this concealer into the skin. To contour, I'm using my Juvia's Place contour stick, and I'm just basically applying that contour to where my jawline is naturally shadowed, if that makes sense. And I do suck in my jaws because sometimes I feel as though I place the contour too low. So sucking in my jaws allows me to see exactly where it needs to be placed. So I also placed that contour around the perimeter of the forehead, and then just doing a little nose contouring. This part is completely optional, but I just did it for the purpose of this video. Now to blend out that contour, I'm just using a buffing brush, and I'm just pretty much blending that contour upwards and just going in circular motions just to make sure everything is blended out. And to blend out the nose contour, I'm just using a angled brush, and I'm just blending that contour out, but I do want to make sure I bring it up to the brow bone to make it look more natural. Now I'm going in with that setting powder, and I'm using a brush versus a beauty blender, and I'm just pretty much just tapping that that setting powder everywhere I applied the highlight. For my bronzer, I'm going in with that same Juvia's Place palette, mixing those two shades together and just popping that right on top of that contour that was placed. Now I'm going in with those two shades, Hope and Listen, and just popping that right underneath my lower lash line. And then I'm going to blend it out. So now I'm going in with my blush from Revolution. I'm just throwing that right on top of that contour. Yeah. Throwing that right on top of that contour and on the apples of my cheeks. Alright, so now I'm going in with my MAC setting spray, and I'm just spraying it all over my face. And then I'm going to go in with my highlight. This is the highlight from Wet n Wild. And then as y'all can see, it wasn't giving me, you know, highlight vibes. It wasn't popping like how I wanted to pop, so I had to go back over it a few times, but eventually we got it there. Alright y'all, so we're almost done. So now I'm just going to be priming my lips. I know that this lip primer is from MAC, and then I'm going to be going in with this NYX lip liner. I don't know the shade, it will be listed down below, but I'm just going to go ahead and outline my lips. Alright you guys, so to finish off my lips, I'm going to be popping this MAC lipstick on in the shade Myth. Going to pop that on right in the center, and I'm just going to rub my lips together to blend it out. And here's the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video.